When I look at Alexandria, I see a ton of opportunity in education. I think, we have seen growth in our K through 12 school system that's been really encouraging. The type of enrollment that's coming back, it's actually led to its own challenges. We now have some capacity constraints that we need to address through additional investment. Lumina is the largest private foundation in the country that works on post-secondary education policy issues. And our goal is by the year 2025, we want 60% of Americans to have a high-quality post-secondary credential. When I look at Alexandria, I see a ton of opportunity in education. I think, we have seen growth in our K through 12 school system that's been really encouraging. The type of enrollment that's coming back, it's actually led to its own challenges. We now have some capacity constraints that we need to address through additional investment. The Washington region is the most educated region in the country when you look at sort of post-secondary degree attainment. So we know that we're having a lot of success in that arena. But at the same time, we shouldn't look past the fact that, here in Alexandria and throughout the country, really, there are still pervasive equity gaps when it comes to post-secondary attainment. And, we want to do all that we can to close those gaps. And something we can do here in Alexandria is try and change the narrative, the way that we talk about learning after high school. We often talk about this notion of going to college as the shorthand, and which a lot of people, when they summon a mental image of that, they're thinking, this brick campus covered in ivy and people are playing Frisbee. And, for some students, that doesn't fit their conception of what they need to do. They may have obligations outside the classroom. They might be supporting some family members or perhaps supporting children of their own. But really, the variety of post-secondary pathways available now are really remarkable, and we need to value all of them equally. Whether it's a 2-year degree, whether it's pursuing learning online through some remote opportunities. Generally speaking, credentialing all of the learning that happens after high school in the appropriate way. There's a lot of learning that takes place in the workplace that we don't do a great job right now credentialing, and enabling it to sort of be stacked and always lead to either more education or better employment. Marrying up the notion of learning and sort of immediate workforce needs is an important thing, and those two systems should work together. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is talent development, right? Like sort of ensuring that our economy has the talent that it needs, and in turn, that people's skills and inherent abilities are being recognized in a way that employers can understand. I think the notion of apprenticeships has become increasingly popular. In fact, we've seen the current administration, this past month talking about expanding apprenticeship opportunities. And there is such a thing as a federally recognized apprenticeship. Like, we do have some sort of policy framework for that. And I think, efforts to grow that, to invest in that more, would be tremendous. It's something we should absolutely look into, and it's something that we've seen be very successful overseas. Germany has a best-in-class apprenticeship program as part of their post-secondary system. I think it's very important that we also ensure, though, that there's quality baked into that, right? That we are, sort of emphasizing the learning that takes place and then the additional advancement, as opposed to just the work, which very quickly can start to look like what we would more commonly call internships, right? But I do think that, things like apprenticeships, we've seen over the past couple of years, these sort of coding boot camps have become very popular. These shorter term programs that are doing a specific type of credentialed learning because we know there's an immediate need for those skills and for those employment opportunities. These are interesting things. And, to return to that notion of equity gaps, at the same time, we need to make sure that those opportunities are being evenly distributed and aren't just available to people from certain backgrounds. We have a big problem in this country right now where, if you go to, say, Northern Virginia Community College, they may call a particular degree one thing, but if you, go to a community college in Tennessee, they might call the exact same learning something different. So if you're an employer and you're looking at two different people that have the exact same underlying skills and learning, but it's described in two different ways, it can be a challenge to understand what's going on. So something the foundation has done is create this national credentials registry where programs can go on and put their credentials there and have some consistency in how these things are being described and understood. And then more broadly, we are grappling constantly with this notion of affordability, right? We often hear it in the popular media through these discussions of the student debt crisis. Alexandria just has this tremendous sense of community, right? Like, I feel like, you can't go anywhere without seeing people pushing a stroller or walking a dog. And we have just truly found the place that we want to spend the rest of our lives in terms of, the way that people come together in shared open spaces. Alexandria has some great parks. We have some great things to do down on King Street. There's really exciting things happening out in the West End. I think what we really value about living here is a place where people get involved. It's a place where people seem to care about having a sense of belonging and playing their role in making sure that it's continually a place that grows and gets better.